The silence was the worst part. It wasn't the quiet of a library or the hush of a late-night street. It was a vacuum, a sudden, unnatural deadness that swallowed the low hum of the fluorescent lights and the distant chatter from the hallway code. Code 80's history class was in the middle of a lecture on the fall of the Roman Empire, and the last thing he had said was something about barbarians at the gates. Then the bell rang, but it wasn't the regular bell, it was a single piercing ring followed by the silence. Bang, bang, motherfuckers! School shooter. Bang, bang! Leo's heart hammered against his ribs. He gripped the edge of his desk, the wood slick with sweat. He looked at Maya across the aisle, her eyes wide, a solid question in them. The door to the classroom was shut. They all knew the protocol, the drills had been rote, practiced so many times they felt like a game. Lock the door, barricade, stay low, be silent. Code 80 moved with a terrible focus grace. He fumbled with the key, his hands trembling, but the lock clicked into place. Then, with the help of a few students, they pushed a heavy bookshelf in front of the door. The thud of the books against the wood was loud. In the silence, Leo squeezed his eyes shut, trying to block out the image of the door, of the barricade, of the reality of what was happening. A sound shattered the stillness. It was a sharp, approaching crack, not from the classroom, but from somewhere down the hall. A gas rippled through the room. A girl in the back row began to sob, a small choke sound. Cole 80 put a finger to his lips, a gesture that was both a plea and a command. They all huddled on the floor, backs against the wall, their knees pulled to their chest. The sounds continued, not just the cracks, but a terrible rhythmic beat, like a drum played by a madman. And then a scream, a single high-pitched wail that was cut short as if by a knife. The silence that followed was even more profound than before. It was a silence filled with ghosts. Leo looked at Maya again. Her face was buried in her knees, her shoulders shaking. He wanted to reach out, to touch her, to tell her it would be okay, but he couldn't move. He was a statue frozen in time, in a moment that would forever be seared into his memory. The silence stretched on, minutes that felt like hours then. From outside, a different sound, sirens, a cacophony of them, growing louder, closer. They were a promise of help, a beacon of hope in the suffocating darkness. But they were also a confirmation. The sounds had been real, the fear had been justified. The school, their sanctuary, had been invaded. They waited huddled together until the sound of a key in the lock and the voice of a police officer finally broke the spell. It's safe now, the voice said, it's all over. But as they filed out of the room into the harsh, sterile light of the hallway, Leo knew it wasn't true, it wasn't over, it would never be over. The silence, the screams, the terror, they were all now a part of him, a part of the school, a scar that would never fully heal. Woke up